Okay, so good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so before we start, I believe everybody should be seated. So please have a seat. Right. So for today's meeting is about the past researches that we did for the last few weeks ago. So before we start, were there any apologies or absence?
No apologies, everyone's present.
Okay, good, excellent. So if everyone's over here already, so basically let's just move on to today's agenda. So minutes of the last meeting, I don't believe that we haven't conducted any meeting before, so this might be our first. So let's just move on and go ahead to today's plan. So what was it about and why was this research conducted? I believe it was Adam for that. Okay.
Basically, this research, we conducted this research through a survey to further identify the perception of Malaysians towards foreigners and their exposure to other cultures, and how they get along well. We found that this research or this survey was worthwhile to be conducted because of how diverse Malaysia has become, and we needed to further understand how different groups from different cultures and religions and backgrounds deal with each other. And what we noticed is some people are new to this kind of exposure, and they kind of feel misplaced, or they feel like they don't have a sense of belonging, and they cannot get along quite well with the different groups. We thought this issue needed to be addressed because and needed to be further understood because we wanted to know why these groups are behaving the way they behave. Like they behave awkwardly somehow around different groups or different races, especially from locals towards foreigners. Although there is some sort of awkwardness from foreigners towards locals too, and like culture shock and all that. But we noticed that Malaysians have more hard time to get along well with foreigners, and we needed to know exactly why. What causes that kind of problem?
So is that all from you?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay, so I believe that the purpose of this research was conducted by you, Afif.
Yes. So the purpose to our research is that we wanted to investigate the perception of Malaysians on cultural exposure and to explore the importance of cultural exposure to Malaysians in workplace and also in classrooms. In addition, we also want to identify the factors that shape Malaysians' perspectives on cultural exposure and to suggest some possible implementations that can be done by institutions or business organizations to benefit the organization itself and its customers.
I see. Okay, I can see all the purposes now. Regarding our data collection, I believe that it was done by you, Ahmed.
Yeah.
So
for the data collection, how we done it, the study basically we did it by using questionnaire, which is contains two parts. The first part it talks about the background, nature, and experience of the respondents across various scenarios. Involves cultural exposure, and it involves 17 questions. For the second part, it's 10 questions, and it's related to the importance of cultural exposure in organizations. So the way we did the questionnaire, the survey, we did by using Google Forms. We shared the information by social media between us. We get response from the students of multimedia or MMU. People working in Cyberjaya. Some of us, they did the research face to face with some employees and from Chumbaka.
Okay. So those were the data.
Yeah, the way we collected the data.
Okay, so Alea, I believe you've seen the data. So who are the respondents for the?
Okay, so for the respondents, we approached local working adults from Cyberjaya and the local students from NMU Cyberjaya.
I see. Those were the only two.
Yes, only these two specific groups.
Okay. Regarding of the findings from the responses, were there any sort of significant findings?
So for what I can find from the findings, so we put 4 factors that affecting, which is the language barrier, difference in culture, different in looks, and the judgment of local college. So established 41.9% majority has factors affecting the language barrier. So they don't know how to speak the languages or something. Another one is that 31.6% has a different in culture. Another 9.5% has a different in looks. So when the foreigner looks different, they kind of like the interaction will be much limited. And 12.2% of them they have like they have the local college judgmental. So apparently they do judge by the localism. So if they are not local, they will less interact with the foreigners. But 14.9% they doesn't have any factors in it, so they kind of okay with it. So the next one is the international workforce and increased success. So apparently, almost a quarter of the respondents agree that the international workforce they can increase success, while 8% disagree. But the majority of the respondents neither agree nor disagree with the success. So that's about it.
I see. So, well, those are all the significant findings?
Yes.
Okay. With those findings, I believe a recommendation has been prepared for it. Grace?
Yeah. There are several recommendations aimed at multimedia university. The first one being more foreign languages should be introduced under the list of subjects that are offered by Faculty of Applied Communication. In addition, attractive incentives such as the I Love MME program should be given more exposure, should be introduced to local students to promote MME to international students. Apart from that, Student Affairs Division, also known as STAD, can introduce something known as the Cultural Night that can expose students to more diversity and increase cultural exposure. Furthermore, cultural events should be encouraged to be organized by cultural-based clubs such as the Japanese Society and the Arab Society to introduce their unique culture to their club members as well as students from Multimedia University. In the classroom level, lecturers can encourage formation of diverse assignment groups comprised of local students as well as international students to bridge the gap between local students and international students. And lastly, faculties can introduce subsidized student exchange programs to facilitate in exchange of knowledge abroad as well as aid in cultural exposure.
Regarding on the cultural night, is it basically you just want to include every culture in the MME facility to be in one event actually?
Yeah, something like something that merges all the cultural clubs in where each members from each of these clubs can perform something that's related to the culture.
I see.
Yeah, that would be my suggestion for cultural night.
Okay, I can see the point in recommendations of the research as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. Regarding of the research as well, were there any issues faced in the process of getting the research report done? I believe the one who did the report was Afif and Mahmoud.
Yeah. So for the struggles and problems, we have two sides, the positive side and the negative side actually. For the positives, so the survey we done, the questionnaire, the report in general, it was some kind of not hard, not so hard, and not so easy. Well, because there was a teamwork, there was organizing for everything was organized. And we had some struggles finding the 20 questions with the short time. They gave us like a short time to do. That like was a little problem. And yeah, Afif can continue for others.
And adding to that, we have also some problems regarding the data, the questionnaire, the data that we got from our questionnaire. We believe that we have succeeded our targeted respondents, which is above 20. But it is also filled with a lot of junk data, which is unnecessary for our research.
I see. So, any pros?
And we managed to actually get more than our targeted respondent in just a very short time. Even though he was filled with a lot of junk letter.
Okay, that's quite good actually. Okay, so were there other issues faced regarding in case of communication between the members? Elia, Adam?
I think there wasn't issues that as in like personal issues.
Mhm.
We didn't have these, but one of the issues that I could anticipate, identify.
Mhm.
The issues that I was able to identify were sometimes like not all of us would be available at the same time when we conduct a meeting, for example, or since we're a large group, so it's kind of hard to bring us all together at the same time, since we have different subjects and different tasks and assignments. And some of us can get busy or with other subjects and get overworked, so they could be doing another assignment or another task at the time when we're having a meeting. So it wasn't very easy to get everyone together since we're a large group.
Understandable. Alright, so Elia, in your response?
Actually, I do believe that there are some issues concerning the performance of the members during the group work. So, for example, the first one is poor communication. Some of them, when having a discussion, many of them would participate in this discussion and give out their opinions, voice, share it. But then there were a few people who were not very responsive. Like even if they asked them questions, they wouldn't really say much, which is not really helpful because this is a group work, so we have to demonstrate all the teamwork in order for greater successes, better achievements, and so forth. Apart from that, another issue I saw was that there is a lack of commitment to the work. So sometimes we assign a task, and then after given a task, maybe they'll do it for the first day, but then the days afterwards they will stop doing it and leave it to someone else to perform it instead. So that's another issue.
I see. Were that all from regarding of communications?
Yes.
So far, yeah.
Okay, so I believe that this problem should be tackled, but regarding of the prospects, we should not be identifying it right now, so let's move on ahead. Regarding of improvements, how do we improve from these issues we're facing?
I think I have some suggestion to improve. So this from what Elias said. So maybe we should, the member should communicate their doubts all together, so that if they have some sort of problem, a bit personal or work-related issues, so the member should actually communicate together to tackle these issues, so that there will be no problem whatsoever when in the future. Yeah. So another suggestion that I want to tackle is each member should be assigned to a clearer roles, so that each member should do this particular task, while the other members should do this kind of task. It shouldn't be like this particular member should, while he's doing his own main task, he should do the side task that the person which might be not do correctly or something. So in that particular thing, I think each member should have their own clear role. But at the same time, if some of the members have their own difficulty in their partner, they should address the issue, and then maybe other members can help him to make sure the task is finished correctly. Yeah, that's about it for me, I guess.
I see. Okay, so Grace, any says on how to improve?
Yes, I do have a few suggestions. Firstly, in response to what Alvin has brought up just now about job data collection, I think in order to cope the issue, we can conduct a data filtration consistently, so that we can filter out junk data and conduct data analysis on any potential patterns that can be detected, that can be identified from the data that was collected. Secondly, in response to the issues that were brought up by Elia about poor communication among members, I think we can arrange a place and time to meet and discuss on members' roles and delegate tasks. And in addition to that, we can also come up with a contract together in order to set deadlines and also track progress for the task in hand. Additionally, we can also make use of something known as a Kanban board that is introduced in apps like Trello, where we can set a to-do list and members can update their progress there and everyone else can see what is going on. So there is transparency and everyone else is kept on track of what's going on.
Okay, see. Okay, since I believe that time is running short, so as I think I can conclude that everybody should be, as from the issues that we're facing, I believe that in the future these issues should be resolved in the coming future for the future researches that we're going to do. So yeah, any of those personnel who feel disheartened about it, do take note about it, okay?
Right.
So regarding of that, I think we can actually include, not include, but I would suggest that if there are any other business, like in my case, I would suggest that with the data that we collect, I believe that although it's a lot of junk data, but what kind of, what are the agencies that we can share this data to improve that we can promote the international culture in the Malaysian local culture as well. Like for example, Ray suggested that MMU should be one of the agencies, so I believe MMU is a university, so is there any other potential agencies that we can suggest as well? Anyone?
Yeah, maybe the international companies in Malaysia.
International companies in Malaysia, so the working agency.
Yeah, the one that includes Malaysian and non-Malaysian
I see.
employees.
Okay.
That basically, I mean, working agencies, international agencies, these fall under the these fall under the workplace criteria, since our research was including universities and workplace. So I'm supposing this already falls under workplace. What I was thinking is maybe we could conduct these researches and surveys at events where people meet up, like let's say our market. Anywhere, let's say an event at Tiananmen Square, where a lot of locals go there and also a lot of internationals go there. So maybe that's a good place to also get information required for our research.
I see. Any other things from other people? If not, then I should suggest that we should choose either one of the agencies, or such as the Learning Institute or any working agency. So in short, let's start sharing the data. So it's either Learning Institute or working agency. Who votes for working institute? Raise up your hand. Working agencies, raise up your hand. So anybody wants to, okay. So for Learning Institute, I would assume that Grace, okay? Grace, Adam and Afi will agree to it. So I guess that it falls towards me for the decision. So I think sharing it with let's go with the Learning Institute, okay? Because I believe that it's the best option in sharing the to expose students in the mindset of cultural exposure, and it might be a great, it might give an effect in time in the future as well. So let's go with the Learning Institute as well. So regarding of that, I believe, yeah, that's the end of the meeting for today. So when is the next meeting?
We will be having the next meeting on next Monday at around the same time, which is 2 p.m.
Alright, so yeah, I believe that is all for today. So thank you for your presence, and yeah, hope to see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Alright,
Thank you.
thank you.
Cut.